Peg Keo here from College Aid Pro. So let's talk about grants and scholarships. Let's define each one of them, compare and contrast them. So first, let's talk about grants. Let's talk about how they're similar. First of all, they're both forms of what we call free money. They're gift aid. So this is what the colleges give out to discount the cost of college. All the colleges are discounting. It's just a matter of how they discount. And some of them will use grants, some of them will use scholarships, and some of them will use a combination. So grants typically are need-based free money. So if you have financial aid eligibility, need-based aid eligibility, according to the college, then they will award what's called need-based grants. This is their endowment money that they're giving out to cut the cost of college because you have financial need. There's also grants that are given out by the federal government. The biggest one, the most known one, is called a Pell Grant. So if you have a pretty low EFC, you can be awarded a Pell Grant. Again, that's free money. It's coming from the federal government. There's also something called FSEOG. That's another form of a grant for low-income people that is free money from the government. Also, many states in the US will give out grants. So that's very state dependent how that works. But all of these different types of grants are free money, and they're given out to families that have need-based aid eligibility. Now, on the flip side, we have scholarships. And scholarships are typically the free money that is given out not based on need. So this will be grades and test scores are the most common criteria that it's based on. Sometimes it's just GPA, sometimes it's both. It could be, depending on the college, it could be for leadership, it could be for talent like music, athletics. It really depends on the college. And some colleges give out what we call merit scholarships, and some don't. Just depends on the school. Everything depends on the school. Now, I will say that some schools will call need-based aid scholarships. I've seen it at schools that do not award merit scholarships. That's mostly where I see it. So there are some schools like the Ivy League schools and the MITs and Stanfords of the world, they just don't give out merit aid. But I do see on some financial aid award letters that come from schools like that, they're very good at meeting need. And I have seen them call what I'm referring to as need-based grants. They do call them scholarships sometimes. So you have to be really careful when you get to the part of the process where you're getting financial aid award letters for your child. This is later, senior year in high school. When you get those award letters, if they're labeled as grants, that's almost always going to be need-based. If they're labeled scholarships, it's usually going to be the merit scholarships. But it's really important, if there's any doubt in your mind, you need to check with the college and make sure you know if it's merit or if it's need-based. And the main reason why is that need-based aid is assessed every year. So you're going to submit the forms every year. And if you get a promotion or you receive an inheritance or you win the lottery, all those things could create a scenario where you have less need-based eligibility. And so some of that need-based aid that you got the year before could potentially go away. Whereas with merit scholarships, because it's not based on need, most colleges award that for all 4 years. And again, if you don't see that, you want to check the fine print and check with the college. So one, in summary, grants are typically, not always, but grants are typically need-based free money from the colleges. At the state level or at the federal level, it can be awarded. And then scholarships are typically the merit-based. So it's not based on need. It's based on talent, grades, test scores, that sort of thing. But always important to know and not assume that when you see that word scholarship, it's definitely not need-based, because there are some situations where it can be. But in general, those are good rules of thumb. But as always, if anything is in doubt, don't be shy. Find out from the college what type of aid it is, because if you don't, you could have some not so great surprises down the road if you make assumptions. So that's grants and scholarships. You want to maximize those because that's that free money that you don't have to pay back. So that's the good stuff. And as always, happy planning.